And this is our Western edition. Good evening. It began as an ordinary school day, and it was almost over when gunfire erupted this afternoon.
17 people have been killed.
In the past 9 years, there have been 288 school shootings in the United States.
Children don't feel safe at school.
Well, it should be one of the safest places for children.
The impact of violence on a child's well-being and development is devastating.
It affects their sleep,
Their health,
And ability to learn.
it's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
this has to stop.
Today, we say enough is enough.
Let's fight for a safe future for every child.
We will never stand down.
We will never shy away.
We are the change. We will fight in peace, and we will move this world.
Trust me, we're just getting started.
We are March for Our Lives.
And this is our story. This is where 17 people were killed at my high school. I was in school, and it was really disturbing.
Another community is in disbelief, shocked by devastating violence. This time,
Students of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School all grow up in a country where school shooting drills are a normal part of life. They never thought an event like that would happen to them, but it did.
okay, is anybody injured?
Yes, a lot of blood. Please help, please.
On Wednesday, February 14th, 2018, a former student went back and took the lives of 17 people.
I wasn't in the same building, but I was in a building right next to it, and I heard gunshots. And we didn't know where the shooter was at the time.
Everyone started screaming and running, stampeding back into the school.
Parents were flooding the streets with their cars, trying to find their kids.
I made it out, like, my sister did, but four of her friends didn't. So I've never heard crying like that before in my life.
I heard about somebody that I had known since 3rd grade who had been shot. Like, somebody was like, I heard he got shot, and I was like, what?
Yeah, we're good. Everyone on the floor. We're good. Everyone on the floor. On the floor.
This community of Parkland is incredibly small. It's 3 roads and a gas station, about 30,000 people in total. It was the safest city in Florida, and if this epidemic of gun violence can take lives here, then it can happen anywhere in this country.
Personally affected by this tragedy, David, Emma, Jaclyn and Matt were determined to act. Directly after this nightmare, they came together with their friends and started making plans.
I knew that the media would cover it for maybe 2 weeks, and that would be it. And so we immediately got on screen and we said, no, you are not going to cover our tragedy. We are going to talk about it because we lived it.
To keep the memory of their deceased friends, classmates and teachers alive, they gave interviews and speeches and used social media to demand action. Combining impressive background knowledge with typical teenage communication styles, involving burns and calling out names, they got those in power to listen.
If you actively do nothing, people continually end up dead. So it's time to start doing something.
What is this organization all about?
It's all about saving lives. It's about fighting for all of them before it's too late.
In between the television and newspaper interviews, they organized their biggest action, the March for Our Lives in Washington, D.C. Millions of people were inspired to raise their voice. More than 800 sister marches sprang up in all 50 states of the United States and beyond. All of them demanding a peaceful solution for safer schools and safer communities.
We choose life.
We can and we will change the world.
I know you want us to be kids, but we have more important things to do.
What started out as a global cry for a safer future turned into a well-defined youth-led movement. From their headquarters, they are strategizing and organizing every move and managing more than 1,200 active local chapters.
On the daily basis in this office, we make calls to organizers around the country that are building out their own March for Lives chapters, and we're making videos, we're using social media, and we're also just being kids. We're having fun. We need to laugh sometimes. We can't always make this such a serious manner or else we're gonna burn out.
It became March for Our Lives' mission to get young people to vote. They went on a Road to Change tour throughout the United States and visited and connected with communities that had also been affected by gun violence.
When you say March for Our Lives, I say the future of our country. I joined this movement because I believe in the power that the young people hold.
Your voice has a meaning to it.
If you feel like you don't have the power to make that change, you're wrong, because you do.
If we're young enough to be shot in our schools, murdered in our schools, we're young enough to speak out about it.
We are real change makers because Florida, for example, has extreme risk protection orders now. The country has passed over 50 laws in over 20 states, and voter registration in Florida has gone up. So we've definitely seen an impact that we have had.
This is going to change. We have the people, we have the pressure, and we have the age.
We've seen bodies of younger people than us in open caskets. We know why we have to act now.
Thanks to March for Our Lives, politicians, the media, and the public have started listening to the next generation. There will be safer schools and safer communities all over the world.
We are March for Our Lives!
And that is why the initiators of March for Our Lives are the rightful winner of the International Children's Peace Prize 2018.